Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Get in Tune. I'm Michael Gracia, and got another great show planned. Tonight, we're going to be talking to two really talented people that I've known for, I'm going to say, a couple of years now. We met through the Spider's Web, with them coming and doing appearances, me doing appearances, visiting, whatever, and they're really cool, really talented. They were supposed to be my last show in December. However, I had some health issues and didn't end up doing the show, so I'm glad they were able to reschedule for now. But before I bring on these two talented people, I want to remind you that today is Wiz Wednesday, and the Wiz came out, at the Wiz Comic on Instagram and Facebook. New year, new start to some stories and stuff on there. So please check it out when you get a chance, and like and follow. Now, let me bring them on, and if I mess up their name, I apologize. It is Dom and Lyd Monette. Did I get it right? Awesome. Yep. I am so sorry. I'm so bad with names. I do apologize, but I'm thrilled that you guys are on tonight. Like I said, I wanted you guys on at the, be my last show for the year, but ended up with some dumb health issues. Had to deal with. So I want to say also for those watching, let's look at here. I don't know if you know their names. We got Rich But Not Wealthy. It says Showtime. And is this Raziel?
Raziel.
Raziel. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate that.
Rich and Razi are both from the comic shop, the web.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm so bad with names as well. Like I know faces, so if I see them, I'll know who they are. But okay. I think I know who we're talking about now. Just from hearing the names. So yeah, Life on Saturn. That's you guys. So can you before we get into the deep conversations and you guys, if you want to draw, color, whatever you guys are doing for work right now, feel free to do it. I might sketch. I got my glove on. I might do a little drawing.
Okay.
Tell us a bit about yourselves, how Life of Saturn started, how you got into comics, things like that.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. So Life on Saturn actually started with music, but Dom and I have always been really into music and the arts. So it's transferred to several different forms of creative production, and we landed on comics around 2020 when another group of artists in the town we lived in were working on comics, and Dom kind of reunited with the illustration and everything.
Yeah, we were doing video and audio production as well, like skits and music videos, and then making our own music, playing. We both play several instruments and stuff, and we just wanted to focus on one skill set and one that we could excel in, and probably comics was the one skill set we thought we could excel in, so we settled on that. So we went from Life on Saturn Productions to Life on Saturn Comics, and since then I've made a lot more connections. We've just done a lot more since we've focused on comics, that's for sure. And I just don't think you can spread your talent amongst a million things if you want to be good at a specific task.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So when you guys got into comics, well, first of all, when you think comics, you thought you could excel at comics better than the skits and audio stuff you were doing, or
definitely.
So there was a passion that you had there, or did that form when I don't know you started getting into comics more?
I got distracted by the notification that just popped up.
Could you like say that one more time?
Okay, so basically what I'm asking is, was comics something you've always had a passion for, or when you were kind of like changing and saying, maybe audio and the skit stuff isn't for us right now, and you just transferred over and a passion developed? Like, when did the passion for comics come into play?
Yeah, that's hard to say.
So I think what reignited it for Dom, or like just reminded him that he was really good at cartooning, was working with Trashberg Comics.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's true.
because we were still doing video production and things like of that nature at the time.
Yes, Trashberg Comics. We used to live in Plattsburgh, New York, and in Plattsburgh, there's two guys, Matt Hall and Chris Rigsby, and they put together a thing called Trashberg Comics, which was just a collection of artists in that area, in that town, and just working with those artists and everybody pumping each other up. I don't know, for some reason at one point I just put art off to the side. Like, I lost the passion to make it the primary thing I did. But I think once I started doing anthologies and working with other artists who like inspired each other, I just suddenly like had this urge to draw, and it hasn't stopped yet. Since how old is Trashberg Comics? Like 2018?
Yeah, 2018 is when I started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We started from production, like video production, everything is it takes up a lot of space on your computer. So between organizing people and organizing files, I think we'd had enough hard drives.
Yes.
When we moved from Plattsburgh up to like Athens, New York, we just a lot of life stuff happened at that time. People passing and just life changing in general, and then I had a hard drive crash, and I like lost tons of like video and music I was working on, and I was just like, I haven't had the inspiration to do anything video or music since,
Yeah.
And then we just took that as a sign to just focus on our comics.
Awesome. Well, I want to say hi in the audience to our friend Thomas Ramirez. All right,
Okay.
He's watching. Wait, actually, he's not watching. He's backstage here. Let's bring him on for a moment. Hello, Thomas. You're back.
Hey guys, what's going on? Oh my God! Hey little ones, how you guys doing?
Good. It's good to see you.
Good to see you guys. I see you guys working over there. And I was just saw a couple books I was checking out. What is this I see? You guys remember this?
Oh, that book's okay.
Okay. How about this one?
Oh my God, that's awesome. I'm
See?
glad you still have those.
Heck yeah! Heck yeah! How you guys been though?
Busy. We definitely missed the shop, I can tell you that.
I'm still working, but I've been very sick for a minute, so I'm trying to get better. So
Definitely get
better. Yeah.
Yeah, health comes first, man.
Definitely.
OMG, Thomas has hair.
Yes.
Wait, where are you
Yes,
seeing
I have
comments? How do we see comments? Oh, right here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you should be able to see the comments. I'm sorry.
Oh, now I see the comments.
Yeah. Feel better, dude. We miss you from Fugitive Poems.
Hey, Fugitive Poems, what's up?
Yeah. So yeah, when Thomas found out you guys were going to be on, he really wanted to be part of the show and say hi to you guys.
Yeah. No one is as good to artists as Thomas. That's for sure.
Yeah. I've said that from the beginning. Always a great guy. So yeah, let's. Tom, before I ask any more questions, do you have anything you want to ask them, or?
Yeah. Where is it? You, where's your little Pokemon stuff at? Did you show anybody yet?
Oh,
the
your
little felt things you guys you
felts?
working on?
No, I haven't shown anybody. You
Mike,
show yourself.
You have to see. I mean, they're talented at everything. What are hands? Taking felt color felts and make it into something blew my mind away. Blew my mind
well,
away.
maybe we're showing it on the air for the first time. Let's see. I'll give
How
them
you
this.
been, Mike?
It's huh?
I'm sorry, Tom. What'd you say?
Mike, how have you been?
I've been a little sick, but overall, better. So I can't complain. Let's get this. Oh, wow.
Heck, that's from hell. It's amazing.
You sew that? Or-
I stab it together, one thread at a time.
Oh, I would not have the patience. That is awesome.
So I said, it's amazing. Where's your Pokemon? I know you got Pikachu. Where's Pikachu? Oh, look at Pika. That thing is amazing. I seen her. She was at one of my signings, and they were just playing with her hands. It's amazing. Look at that. Squirtle, Squirtle. I mean, that's a talent that, wow. Oh my God. Look at that. And how long does it take you to do one of those?
It depends on the doll. They're time consuming.
I mean, with the talent, with his drawing, you guys doing everything. Man, look at that. Now, that should be on Estes selling.
Yeah.
That's selling. Estes. Gotta put it on there. That's gorgeous. How many Pokemon,
My
my God. The talent. When I saw her doing that, I was blown away. I was blown away.
Yeah, so wherever we table, if our art is not selling, this is definitely selling.
My business kitty.
And if you don't mind me asking, how much do you sell those for at shows?
My most popularly priced ones are probably the Snorlax. I sell him for like 50.
That's not bad at all.
Same thing for these little guys. But the difference between the Snorlax, he's a little bit bigger, and these is that these get like little wires put in them. So you can kind of move the foot.
Can maybe do a stop motion.
That's amazing.
With limited range of motion, but
But that's amazing. That's
and
a good
Princess Peach had
size of nose
had stuff in her, it like wires in her, so she could hold the star and everything. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She's firm, smooth.
Yeah.
That's amazing, guys.
That is, yeah. Wow, I can't.
Dom, what are you working on over there? Why are you being a little sneaky about it?
I'm just here drawing characters for a anthology submission.
Okay.
If you'd like to show it all. Very nice stuff. Yeah.
Man.
I love it. Love it. Love it.
Lyd and I, we work with a group of people called Lesser Known Comics, and they have a horror anthology coming soon. So we're just preparing that. The rest of this month and into February, Lyd and I will be working on book 2 of Mana Kingdoms, which is a story we do with Mark Bridge, and it's like, how would you describe it? Definitely, it's like 90s X-Men and magic, I'd say.
Oh, nice. And Mark is watching. He is Pop Culture Galaxy.
Yep.
Says, hey, what's up? But yeah, so let me ask you, before we get into talking about your art that you guys do, who are some of your influences as artists?
For me, definitely pretty much everyone of the original Image guys, definitely them. I like Ryan Benjamin.
Savage Dragons. Am I correct in that? You love those. All those we bought you guys. You got you guys.
Eric Larson, he's one of the original Image guys. What about you?
I like.
You could say me though. You could say me.
I like Art Nouveau. Like I like specifically Impressionism, Monet, like, and for people who I guess are a little bit more closer to modern times, Hayao Miyazaki, and any of the revolving people who have been a part of like art direction in that studio.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Okay.
Again, I'm sure we have a million more. We just can't think of it right now.
We got who's Rich says Dom is Todd McFarlane.
That's the highest
Better than
compliment.
Todd.
Yeah, and actually, Fugitive Poem says what Todd McFarlane was hugely important to my formation too. You know, I've been actually watching a lot of Todd McFarlane interviews this week. I mean, he gave that one. What was it? Was it last week? I think he did it, and he came out and was talking about some stuff about the comic industry and about Spawn and whatnot. And I've said this countless times on the show. I was never a Spawn fan, but I am a huge Todd McFarlane fan. I think Todd is amazing. Who do we got here?
Yeah, he's an inspiration.
Yeah. I mean, he's just. I think anyone who wants to do comics as a business, and not just like, as a hobby, they should be following Todd's. Basically anything Todd says is kind of.
He's making more Spawn. They're branching out.
Yeah, and that's what the interviews I was watching were talking about. I forget who I was watching because I watched like 3 different interviews, but he said in one of them, he's just kind of gathering people who can make good comics for him. That's it.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care if they can put out a comic a month or a year or whatever it is, they'll put out, as long as it's a good comic, he'll work with the people.
Yeah, that's the movie I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for a movie about how Image started. Where is it? It would make such a good one.
Well, there is the documentary An Image Revolution, which if you've ever seen that.
The Sci-Fi Channel one?
I don't know if that was on Sci-Fi. I watched it years later, like online. Like I think I first watched on Prime Video, and now it's like on Tubi or something, and you could probably find it on YouTube. And it was it's a really good good documentary on them. Let's see. Rich says,
this is my favorite book. It's pretty huge.
Let me give you the screen here.
It's the artist edition of Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man run.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. I've never.
Like all the scanned pages are in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks fantastic. I actually want to pick up the art of Todd McFarlane. That is one book I want, because it kind of shows his progression throughout his entire career. Let's see. Noah is watching, says, I fantasize about the Image Comics movie daily. I mean, listen, they were a great company. They did a lot of great things, and they're still doing good things. So, they're putting out, I don't like to knock stuff, but they are putting out some of the better comics than some other mainstream companies I won't name right now.
We had that conversation last time.
Did we?
Basically, I feel, yes, we did. With indie, I always feel indie comics were more like into the book than than A and B. If you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I get you.
That's why I always loved indie comics.
Indies are fun. That's and when I started the show was to talk to indie creators and help promote them. So I love that. First of all, you guys are on, but like what I do with the show, I feel is what Tom does at the store. He puts out a lot of indie books. He brings in indie creators, and he just loves helping them out. And that's what I love to do. Now, you guys have some fantastic work out there. Now, you mentioned earlier working on designs for a horror anthology. Is that kind of the genre you tend to work in mostly, or do you work in a variety of genres? What do you do?
Definitely a variety. Horror comes up often. We really like working in the tokusatsu genre, which is like Power Rangers and Godzilla, stuff like that. In fact, our story Fennec, that we've been working really hard on, that is a Toku themed story for sure.
And that's the one that's coming out on Kickstarter in March. Was that what it said
yes.
in the yeah.
Okay. We've been working on that story for like 3 years, so you're gonna see the art change a lot, and maybe even the storytelling. You'll see an evolution there. It's the book will be all 5 chapters, and I plan to start working on the next 5 this year.
That's great. Now,
We did the writing.
that's actually what I was going to get to. Since you're a team, how do you break up the jobs? You know, does one person write? Do you both write, or come up with the ideas or plot? One draws, one colors. How does all that work?
At the moment, I'm the one writing. I wrote Fennec and Yamaneko, and I wrote Hunter Duck. But that's only because I don't know. There's certain stories where, like, when you have a good story, it just like the writing just kind of pours out of you, and you can write it fast if you know you have it. And I just draw in ink, so I also do that very fast. And she'll color and put the words on it and format everything, and then like she does like a lot more work than I do, so that's why I tend to do more of the writing. But we do have some plans in the future, even this year, where she'll be working on something of her own.
Interesting. That's great to hear. Is it going to be a comic, Lyd, or is it? It's okay. Cool.
There's actually 2 that I'll probably have more abandoned writing that we have planned. So.
Yes. So we actually we never wanted to make kid stories because it just like we don't like editing ourselves as artists, but they do get more attention, kid stories, and definitely we finally came up with some ideas that we think would be fun to do, even though you have to put a restriction on yourself. And by restriction, I just mean like subject matter and everything. But one was we have a friend named Barbara Roberts, and for Christmas one year I drew a picture of her in this like mushroom empire, because she loves mushrooms, and it was just like, it was so cool that we made posters of it, and people keep asking us to make a story of it, so we're going to actually do that. So, and what's it going to be about?
Emotional regulation.
Okay.
So my best friend is a therapist, or she's about to be licensed, and she deals with some of the most imbalanced individuals of Clinton County. So it's going to tackle a bunch of different things about like finding your wise mind when you're out of whack. So she's going to go across the mushroom empire with her little sentient mushrooms and therapize people metaphorically.
Well,
and
listen,
literally.
that sounds great. I mean, having a theme like that in a children's story, or even all ages, that sounds great. I mean, I still have to put my children's book together, but it was mine's about, for real little kids, about exploring their imagination. But I like when I see themes like that. I love children's books. I actually collect children's books. But it's funny how you guys are having to, I think you used the word, restrict yourself a bit. Whereas where I tend to do nothing but kid friendly art, and I have a lot of stuff that isn't kid friendly that I've been wanting to put out. So I'm learning to break free right now of that. Stopping myself. I always had a rule, basically, if it isn't in Star Wars, if it wouldn't be in Star Wars or like Batman the animated series, it wouldn't be in my book. Like, that's kind of how I censor myself, and I tend to end up writing that way. But I have a lot of other stuff that kind of goes way past
So
that.
if that's the rule you normally follow, how come you're not going to censor whatever this project is?
I don't.
Do you
I
feel
don't.
like you finally have something that's worth?
I've had something for a long time. Hold on. Fugitive Poem says kid friendly is the fugitive poem way. He goes, wait, no, that's the opposite. That's the opposite. Yeah. No, but actually, last time, I'll be honest, last time I had Fugitive Poem on, after the show, I showed them some of my stuff that wasn't going to be censored, and they were, you know, they were into the ideas and the characters and stuff, and I've talked about on here, so I'm not ashamed to say things, but I've suffered from like depression and anxiety for years, and before I knew what it was, I was drawing these characters that were just kind of my way to deal with it, and I didn't know it was called anxiety at the time or depression or whatever it was. It was just I was writing these really crazy kind of little skits, if you will, or little short comics, and I would just doodle out these images about it. Nothing I ever published. Today I'd probably get canceled for these characters, but I do have characters that I doodle that aren't always in the kid friendly realm, you know. Definitely. And I'm not saying I'm drawing like crazy violence or sexual stuff. But the theme and the thoughts come out of the things I was thinking about before I knew how to handle my issues, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I do think they would make a good comic these days.
Just create a fake name and start a random Instagram account and test it.
And that's they already gave me a pen name and blabbed it out on the air that night. So I'll have to create a real fake name to work from. But yeah, it has been something I've been thinking about. Just waiting for the right time for me to settle down and work on that stuff. But yeah.
Dom, I got a question. Dom, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Hunter Duck was a great book. The drawings amazing. A lot of black and white, a little color. What are you doing different for your new book?
For Hunter Duck Book 2?
No. For the new book, you guys are you guys done with the next book?
No. You're talking about the Kickstarter in March for Fennec?
Yes.
Compared to Hunter Duck, this book is all color.
Okay.
It's not as it's a totally different genre. So, I mean, they're both kind of sci-fi, but Hunter Duck I would consider like Howard the Duck in a Blade Runner universe. It's a gritty future city,
Right.
and it has, but and Fennec is like a tokusatsu.
Right.
But so for Fennec though, this is going to be a big book. It's going to be 5 chapters, and two of the last 2 chapters have never been printed. I've printed the first 3. And I also went back to chapter 1 and drew a few more pages. So, yeah.
So, is there like a comic book guy in this book by any chance? Just throwing it out there. Is there like a comic book guy that has hair, glasses? Just want to know. No?
Could be. There could be. Yeah. We'll talk.
While we're talking about your artwork and stuff, I want to show some of your work. I love your hold on, let me get to just a comment, even though I already said. It says, didn't we come up with a fake name for you? It was Mickey Grass. That's what they want to call me, Mickey Grass. So but let's show some of your oh, that's not nice. He gets killed on the first page. I think he means the comic writer with the hair and the glasses. But let's take a look at some of your work. Now this was a web comic, or do you still do this or no?
So yeah, I definitely have future plans for it. I'm teaming up with a friend of mine. He's writing chapter 2,
Mhm.
and him and I seem to have like the same idea of how to bring the story forward. So I would like to have somebody else write, um, because I don't always like writing, but I taught myself how when it came to like the story Fennec, for instance, and I feel like I'm really good at starting stories like Yam and Echo, but I'm gonna have a friend of mine keep it going because that's it's the prolonged act 2 that is sometimes a struggle.
Now, your work has obviously a very you can even see it here, a very like Asian flair to it, of a, whether it's anime, manga, whatever you want to call it. Um, and I don't, and I love the style and everything, but is that are the themes in your book kind of what you would see more in a manga rather than an American style comic?
In Yamaneko, for sure. It was inspired by Ghibli, and I'd say it's like, if Ghibli went a bit more adult and dark.
Okay.
So definitely for Yamaneko, I'd say manga is an inspiration, and for Fennec, tokusatsu, that's a Japanese theme or genre. And then I don't know, for stuff like Hunter Duck and most other comics I've drawn, they tend to be like traditional comic style.
Okay. I'm just going to be looking here. So, Rings of Saturn. Tell me about this.
So Rings of Saturn is the first book that Lyd and I made together. It's just like the first thing we started drawing when we left our hometown up north in Plattsburgh. It was just the first book we knew we wanted to make, and there's 7 stories. All of them are drawn by us,
Mhm.
and each story is written by a different friend of ours. And for each story, we tried to kind of do a different style of art.
Okay. I mean, it looks great. I love the cover.
Yeah, thanks. That's the cover is a character I'd like to definitely do more with in the future. It's someone that my friend Chris Brigsby and I are creating called the Motorcyclops. Half Cyclops, half motorcycle, in a dystopian future where robots are taking over. It's you know
Yeah, I love
I
it.
got
I
nothing
love
else.
it. No, it's okay. It's okay. Hold on. I'm trying to go between 2 screens, looking at the work and looking at comments here. And you got motor clops.
Motorcycle. Yeah. Gatsby is in Rings of Saturn too. That's a fun one to be with Gaps.
Yep. Well, and speaking of Rings of Saturn, that's one of the things we'll be working on this year is the second book for Rings of Saturn, which means I will have friends writing stories again, as Lyd and I, with our updated skills, do different styles per story. And I think this time we'll kill it even more because we can do like several different styles we haven't done before. So even people in the comments like Rich and Rozzy, they both submitted stories to me. I'm trying to think. Gatsby, I already drew Gatsby chapter 2.
So now, when you have them submit stories, is this a like, yes, they're guaranteed to have a story in there, or you're going to, you get to, edit, pick? How does that work? Like, if it's just as an example, say I wanted to write you a story, is it guaranteed in the book, or are you just like, maybe,
I definitely am picky. I've like my friend DJ, for instance. What's up?
Stickers. I made those.
Yeah. Oh, you made
Yeah.
these?
Yep.
Nice.
My friend DJ submitted a story to the first book, and the first story he submitted, I was like, I'm not sure about this. I had him submit another one, and then that one he submitted to me. I liked it, and I drew it, and I drew all 10 pages of it. But then I messaged him, and I'm like, this doesn't fit the theme of the book because all the other people who submitted stories, all kind of had a similar theme, and I didn't realize that I didn't give everyone a theme. And so when everybody but him had a similar theme, his story stood out in kind of a weird way. So I had him write another one, and I drew a whole nother 10 pages. And I've still never published the 10 pages I drew of that story he wrote, but
Wow. Yeah, no, I mean I'm just curious on how you work with picking stories to draw, because technically what you're doing is an anthology but you're doing all the artwork for it yourself. So this is great. Listen, I love your page.
Well, that's the shirt I have on in the video.
I was actually going to ask you, we had a comment earlier that
From Rich,
asked, I wanted to get to it. Can you can you show off your shirt and tell us how do we get these wonderful shirts?
Well,
and this one back here, Godzilla.
Can you bring that closer to the camera? I can't see it too well. Oh wow, that is amazing.
Fair enough.
You guys are becoming two of my favorite artists as more and more as we watch it. I've seen your work online. I've seen your work in person, but right now you telling me about your work and how you get into it and stuff, and the things I'm seeing more and more and just talking about, you're making me your favorite, you're becoming my favorite artists.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So I'm sorry, Lyd, tell us about how we get these shirts.
So these are available on our website in the shop section under apparel. So right now we have the bot crop top available as a cropped hoodie, a cropped tee, and a few of Dom's Inktober designs, and Saturntober, because he did Godzilla for Saturntober.
LifeOnSaturnArt.com.
LifeOnSaturnArt.com.
Oh, don't worry, we're showing that because it's already right here, and so we can look and see your stuff.
So we have a limited selection of designs available right now, but I'll be formatting more of his work on tees and hoodies and stuff.
And just to show off a couple more things that we did last year, a friend of mine named Rob, he makes fingerboards.
Okay.
I assume you know what those are, right?
Yes, I do.
So he got a hold of us. Well, he got a hold of me to make art for his fingerboards.
Oh, that's awesome.
So these came out last year. Especially this one, the Krampus theme one. But if you go on Instagram, his name is Fingabob, FINGAHBOB. Also, these like little backpacks that you put the board in, and in the zipper, there's like stickers and stuff like that. The logo's too small to see, really, but I designed that one too. It's like a fingerboard and a circle ramp.
Yeah. That's cool.
And then last year on Discord, I joined a group called the Artist Appreciation Project, and basically they do like instead of an anthology, they get artists together and then they put out like decks of cards and stuff like that. And you can buy the decks, or if you're one of the artists who submits a piece of art and you win, they'll print your art on the card for free. So I've done several of them. Like I've won 4 times so far.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you.
There's so many.
And when you're a winner, they send them in these plaques. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's so many cool things out there that, like on Discord and things that people don't know about. That is really nice.
Yeah, we are also on Discord a part of a group called the Comics Accountability Club. They have an anthology that's coming out soon.
And you're also, you were telling me before, you're part of a Discord about drawing Star Wars stuff?
Yeah, so that one's on my server.
Okay.
Every
Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday night at 7:30, we draw Star Wars stuff, to which I can show you what mine are so far. Week 1, the theme was Ichuta, which is a Star Wars curse word.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody drew what they interpreted Ichuta as. I made all original characters. Week 2 was called Legends. So you do a character from the extended universe, and I chose someone from a Star Wars fighting game. Week 3 was Kashyyyk, which is the home planet of the Wookiees. So I drew some Wookiees at like a concert. And then today was Star Wars Xenomorph. So I drew like Chewie with a chest burster coming out of him, and what a alien Wookiee hybrid would look like.
Interesting. Wow. That's great. So since this is on your Discord, number one, I'm assuming you're a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
And number two, well, first of all, let's go here. Chewie deserves it. But number two, do you pick the themes each week, or do you have ask your people on the Discord channel what do they want to do?
So far, I've held a vote.
Okay.
For 3 out of the 4 weeks.
Okay. All right. And so you've only been doing this a month then?
Yeah.
Yeah. And are you getting a lot of people joining and doing it?
There is like a solid 5 to 6 of us.
Okay, cool. Yeah, see, I'm sorry, I don't know all how much your love of Star Wars, but Rich says the hell you say. So let me ask you, how big is Star Wars in your life then?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely. I don't know how to answer that, but it's up there.
No, I asked because also I just had an interesting conversation with a friend of mine the other day. We were talking about older, like I love the older characters, like the Phantom and Mandrake the Magician and Flash Gordon and all those characters. And there was a story I heard that before Star Wars, Lucas was trying to make a Flash Gordon movie but couldn't get the rights, so he wrote his own sci-fi, which is what became a Star Wars. All right, that's the story I heard, and I'm wondering, and I think about that, how the landscape of like film and entertainment would be if he got the rights, and we never had Han Solo or Luke or Chewie or any of them, because so many things were inspired by that movie that came forward. Even to this day, people are still creating Star Wars inspired stories, and I'm just always amazed at how much of an influence that story, Star Wars in general, had on its audience. I mean,
yeah, I think sci-fi would truly be lacking. I mean, Flash Gordon would have been a really good movie, that's for sure, but it's hard to create, I feel like, extended universes off of a self-titled sci-fi character like that.
Yeah. It's and here goes. We wouldn't have Spaceballs, which is true.
That's the real one.
But that, it is an interesting thing with that, because just thinking of cartoons from my era growing up, Thunder the Barbarian, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, all those things, Thundercats, that's all Star Wars inspired, So yeah, I'm just wondering. I just think about how would my art, because I was obsessed as a child. My Star Wars stuff faded as I got older, but as a child, I was obsessed. I had as many toys. I used to draw Star Wars nonstop. It was my life,
Yeah, I had a small moment of time where Star Wars was like not on my radar as much. It was like I'd say episode 2 and 3. Like those years, I just kind of fell out of Star Wars. They weren't interesting to me. They were like, and I've talked about this with my friends before on our Star Wars chat, but like I feel like when you're a kid, the Phantom Menace has elements that would attract kids, but like 2 and 3 get so political that, and you just can't like them until you're an adult and go back and watch them. And but I'd say like my Star Wars love has been pretty strong, minus like the prequel trilogy is more recent, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I won't go into my lectures on that. I can complain about a lot of Star Wars stuff, I'm sure. I'm kind of classic. Just give me the original movies and I'm happy. But yeah, I mean, so that obviously influences your work, but you're also influenced through like kaiju films and you know, I mean, with the love of Godzilla, obviously drawing him, you're having monsters fighting in what was it called? Fennec is the title, if I'm correct. So that is kind of like, you know, in that Power Rangers versus kaiju style, correct?
Yeah. So with that, I feel more inspired by like Robert Kirkman. It's like I want to make like The Walking Dead of tokusatsu, you know, like Toku is very much so the world that they live in, but there's like a human drama that's in the forefront, you know?
Yeah. It's I'm actually a fan. I'm a big fan of that type of stuff too. What's to say prequels forever, the mid. You know.
That one's Andrew. Which Andrew and I are pitching a story to Fugitive Poems this year.
Yeah. Well, I know Patrick. So, but what was I gonna say? I just blanked on what I was gonna say.
That you love the prequel.
No, I love those type of stories myself. I grew up on them. A lot of. I mean, I was never, you know, you guys are younger than me. I was never into the original Power Rangers stuff as a show because I was already a teenager. But when I started studying like that type of, got introduced to the manga and anime stuff in college, that was where it like really boomed for me. Because when I was a kid, I loved anime, and to this day, there is a show I will never remember what the title was. All I remember, there was this guy. He was in a I think he was shirtless, but he had like a fur cloak on with this giant sword, and he was walking through the snow. And that's the only scene of the show to this day I remember was an anime. And I used to draw stuff like that all the time. And kids made fun of me and told me all this stuff. And as I started studying art, like actual getting into, I want this as my career, and I'm studying comics, I'm studying animation, I'm studying all these things, and I'm taking in more American styles, and I stopped drawing that. That's when the anime boom of the 90s hit, and everyone started drawing what I was drawing back in the, you know, mid to late 80s, and they were making fun of me for drawing American style comics now. But I really didn't get into it like fully until like college when I had a friend introduce me to all that stuff, and that's when I fell in love with like all those type of stories. So we got someone asking about Fire and Ice. Wow, that was an echo.
Fire and Ice, Berserker.
Mm-hmm. So all that stuff is great. I'm sorry, I'm hearing an echo in my headset. So yeah, I mean, so this year, your plan is to put out Fennec, to do another what was it called, the Rings of Saturn, and and you what's it, Yamaneko? You're also gonna work on this year.
Yeah, so I actually have all of chapter 2 of Yamaneko drawn. I'm just we're kind of doing it the Marvel method way, so I'm waiting for the guy to write the words to the pictures. And then that'll be online soon. We will be in a horror anthology for lesser known comics. Then there is a Comics Accountability Club anthology coming out this year. We want to do. We're working on Mana Kingdoms book 2, our Fennec Kickstarter, and then so we have a lot of stuff coming up already.
Yeah, it sounds like it. One of the things I wanted to ask is, besides, and I'm saying it right, Yamaneko, that's still going to be online. Is anything else going online? And if so, where can we read it?
Yamaneko can be read at lifeonsaturnart.com
/comics.
But you could go on there and click the comics section. But that's our only like online comic so far.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to try it out. I even drew it in a way that would be like infinite scroll.
Yeah, we have a few of the stories from Rings of Saturn up there, like especially the ones that were like we know that there's working writers that were on those, so that they have something to show to other people.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind making like a continuous online comic. I'm not really sure how to get into that. I'm still very much so into the making an actual book and stuff. But
okay.
I got a question. Mike always goes on Wednesdays and does a little sheet. Yeah, you guys ever thought about doing something like that? Just putting out different little couple pieces of artwork?
Yeah, we noticed Ed Piskor does carousel strips like that too.
Switchblade shorties.
He prepared a year ahead of time though, right? Is that what you did?
Yeah. I do have like an idea for a series called like I think I'm gonna call it like A Special Place in Hell or something like that. And it'll just be like an everyday comic where I draw something silly or a frustration, something like that. But yeah, that's about it.
And it's gonna be funny because it's gonna be like you're in hell for like the stupidest stuff. I don't know. It's funny.
Wait, you're ready then.
Like little annoying behaviors that don't seem too bad, but irritate the rest of humanity.
It's funny. First of all, I think that's a fantastic idea. But what was I going to say? It's funny when people started doing web comics back in the late '90s, early 2000s. The way I do it as a strip format was the popular format. Then it moved into the comic page. Then it moved into basically what we now know as the infinite scroll through, like webtoons. But I'm starting to see more and more on Instagram, like the newspaper style strips, because it's great for swiping. And you could, I have a 3-4 panel swipe. Last week, I think I did it as like a Sunday strip, so it was 8 or 9 swipes you had in there. But yeah, I'm starting to say, like you mentioned Ed Piskor doing it. I'm seeing a few other well-known named artists starting to do that type of stuff as well. I think I don't know which social media site's always going to be the best or what's where to post stuff constantly, but Instagram I think has that benefit of the swipe that this type of comic works again. So I'd love to see that. He goes, let's see. Rich says, I have so many people in my life you could draw for a Special Place in Hell comic.
Oh my God. Is this rich person that what is he? He should be sleeping by now. Why is he up? What is he up for? I got more gray hair now today because of him.
Rich knew you were going to be on. He knew.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, what was I going to say? I'm sorry. I was just looking at comments for a second. So, yeah, now, Lyd, you said earlier, I just want to make sure I understand. You handle mostly the coloring, the lettering, some of the design, I guess, right? Like layout and stuff.
Yeah, graphic design stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was well, not that I had to have the pre-launch page ready before tonight, but I was like, oh, let me see what I have done, and maybe I'll have a pre-launch page to announce. And then I looked at everything I have to do still, and I was like, yeah, no.
So you're even like web design and stuff. You're like the tech
No,
person.
not just graphic stuff. I
Oh,
just
okay.
worked on Illustrator. I don't like know code or anything or
Okay.
SEO. I will watch YouTube videos and figure it out however I can, but I'm no expert. But we will have our pre-launch page up. We'll have that up on our Instagram when we do have it up. We have like a video that we put together for the Fennec Volume 1 that's gonna be with associated with the Kickstarter page. We'll probably put little teasers on Instagram too.
This will be our first Kickstarter, so
I was about to ask you.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I do a lot of the design stuff, the formatting of the book. I do lettering. I took a lot of the graphic design courses in college, and so I'm a little bit of a slave to the Adobe suite.
I'm right there with you. I actually taught all those programs in college. Yeah, I taught college, specifically at one for 16, 17 years I taught at, and I taught the entire Adobe suite except for Dreamweaver.
Yeah, now they have me hooked. I'm almost certain for life. I was like, that's kind of dirty. But you know, I do value having the suite in my life. I do like all the programs that I that are available to me. And then when we did production and everything, just having Premiere Pro and After Effects like gave it that extra value.
Yeah.
So I do I dabble a little bit in motion graphics and effects.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I taught After Effects regularly, Adobe Animate, Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. So like I taught all those classes, loved all those things. And
doing InDesign, I used it for the first time for Rings of Saturn, and then recently when he did his Inktober was my first time exporting a postscript and trying to get it to automatically collate itself, like with, I forgot what it's called, with when it inverts the page. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's been a couple of years since I've really been into InDesign, so I don't remember all the terms right now. But
all right, so on a Mac, it doesn't automatically like export to PDF, so you have to do a PostScript file. Then you have to use like an encoder to like get it from a PostScript to a PDF. And I was having the hardest time. It took me more than 12 hours to figure this out. It was a script that I had to put in a created folder for the application that was going to get everything to collate properly. It was just but I did it, and then I was able to make books here at in our studio. So I can make books.
That's good. And so you print at the studio. You don't send them out to be printed?
That was my first time printing here. It's nice to have the ability to do something like that. But I still think it's worth it to have other people print your stuff.
Oh, I agree. That's why I was asking. I don't want, like, a lot of the stuff I'm doing right now is going to be digital based because I just don't want to hold stuff in my studio right now and lose storage.
Like zines though, like we'll print our own zines,
smaller things,
stickers and magnets.
Oh, that's cool.
The button press.
Well, the advantage of that is like we were going to a zine fair and he had just finished Inktober, so you're never gonna get that back. Like even if you mix them, they're fast, but they're not that fast. It's gonna be like 2 weeks and then they'll print it and then they'll ship it. Like, I don't know. Versus it took me 12 hours to figure out how to get it ready for print and then 24 hours to put the thing together, 2 days to put it together. So within 4 days, I could have a copy in my hand if I format it myself and print it myself.
That's fantastic. I may have to talk to you about the printer you're using off the show. Because I'm looking for a new printer right now. That's why.
Yeah, I love it. It's an Epson ET8550. It's an EcoTank printer, so you get a lot more prints, and you fill like wells instead of buying cartridges.
Oh,
it's much cheaper.
Yeah, interesting. I'll have to look into that.
Mhm.
So, I don't have really any other questions at the moment. So, Tom, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
When is the Kickstarter starting? Are you guys doing like the prime is like 6 books? What are you guys doing? Do you guys know?
I'm still mulling over the different tiers, but generally, so we're gonna get it up a March before, not March, a month before it launches. March 19th is when it will be out. So 2 months before it launches, I mean. So on January 19th, I hope I'm gonna have everything ready I need for the pre-launch, and then it'll be available to on March 19th. But I think there's a feature where you can like pre-commit. Like if there's something like that, I'll have an
Yeah,
option for
I've been
people.
doing it for the guys, you know. So I will buy a dozen books, I guess, to start you guys off.
Yeah, so
So
look out for a little link on our Instagram on January 19th.
yeah, just touch base with me. Dom, you got my number.
Oh yeah,
You know,
we'll
set
send
it up.
personal links to the homies. Yep.
But the actual campaign itself, which I'm thinking I guess will be like 30 days. That seems standard.
Mhm.
Will start
Okay.
on March 19th.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll take care of it.
March 19th to April 19th.
Okay. I'm very happy. I'm
On
just
the
happy to
two-
see you guys.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
happy to see you too.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah, no.
what is Michael Gracia got going on for 2024?
Oh God, you know what? I'm gonna actually be announcing stuff through the Get in Tune show as the show progresses throughout the year, and also my Monday night live draw,
Mhm.
which I will start up again this coming Monday. And by the way, you guys, for those who are watching and who watch my Monday night live draw, I'm sorry I haven't done it. You know, we had the holidays on Mondays, but I ended up not having the greatest couple of weeks there. I got sick. I actually spent a couple of days in the ER. There was a few. I'm not going to go into the whole story. I'm fine, but it kept me from catching up with some of the stuff I was doing for the Monday night live draw. For those who aren't watching, what I'm doing is I'm taking you through a step-by-step process of how I create an animation, and the story is written by Dawes Butler, who was the voice of like Yogi Bear and all those characters. And my friend Joe Bevilacqua, goes by Joe Bev, did the voices and all the audio, and was a student of Dawes Butler. That's how I got the script. So like the first week, I started doing the animation stuff. I did characters. Then I went into God, what did I do? Like turnarounds. I did character designs and turnarounds. Then I did. I started doing storyboarding, and I'm still haven't finished it, but I'm going to do some backgrounds on Monday. So I'm going to talk about background, and then I'm going to be the following week. I'll probably start breaking the characters down for animation the way I need to, and then probably sometime in February I'll start actually animating, and I'll be animating through Adobe Animate. So I'll be doing that, and I'll be starting up a new live draw for for non-animation stuff, for more illustrative stuff I've been wanting to do. Not sure if it's going to be traditional or digital or just a combination. What I want to do, I've been wanting to get back into painting. I used to enjoy watercolor. I'm more of what's the word I'm looking for? I love colored pencils. I love marker. So, I might do some traditional, but the undo button is my best friend. So I like to draw digitally these days. We're getting a question. It says Adobe Animate on the stream. Yeah, no. Yeah, what I do is I work between Photoshop right now is where I'm mostly in, and then I bring it into Adobe Animate to do some things. My background is as a 2D character animator, but I'm just very passionate about comics as well. I've always been like, it's a scale. Which one do I love more right now? So I just want to do both. And the days during the week, are comics, and Monday's been devoted to just animation. So I know I got my animation right
Thank
there.
you.
Yeah, I'll be streaming on this channel. All the channels you're watching me on. If you're on Twitch, you'll see me on Twitch. If you're watching me on YouTube or Facebook, it's there. I might start streaming to Instagram because now StreamYard can stream to Instagram. I just gotta practice with that as well. So you'll see some more streams, but you're gonna see a lot of work. There is another comic in progress for me. I don't want to go too much into it. There is a sci-fi one I'll tell you I'm working on. I don't want to talk too much about it right now, but it's a short like comic strip format. And my goal is, I have a character, Dax Photon, that I've brought up on the show before. I'd love to finally get around to drawing him this year. I've had the script for a couple of years now, but I just really been wanting to draw it. So that is something. But there's other things that are coming that I'll be announcing later on that I'm not ready to talk about. But that's Michael Gracia's 2024 right now.
And a question: did your nephew get the package?
No, because
Oh.
he had pink eye for the holidays.
Oh.
So I haven't. It's sitting right over in the corner. So the next time I see him, I will give it to him. It's
cool.
So yeah, I didn't get to see him because he was sick.
But
But
the last sickness Lyd and I had was horrible. We had a vacation in Arizona, which for whatever reasons it was not a good vacation, and it was like a whole week. So that was like week one that really sucked. And then we got home and we brought like COVID back with us. So week two was shitty because we had COVID. But while we had COVID, we got a commission from someone, and it turned out to be a scam. So like. We spent our whole COVID working on a scam.
But here's the funny, ironic thing is it was a COVID scam. Like, so you had to like illustrate for like some COVID presentation.
Oh wow!
So we worked on a COVID scam while we had COVID.
They were posing as teachers who were making a COVID presentation for their students, so they needed artwork for it. And meanwhile, I had COVID while we were drawing it, so it was like. Yeah, we were paranoid. We're like, we can't mail this to them when we have COVID. We were like concerned for them.
Yeah,
we were concerned for them, but they were scamming us all along.
There is a lot of scamming going on for commission, for artists. I got one last year where I forget what account they messaged me under. It was on Instagram, and I have 3 different accounts on there. And they're like, I love your work. Can you draw I think it was my kids or my pets or whatever in your style? And I said, sure. And every time I tried to get the information, they weren't giving me the information that I needed. And eventually I just wrote them and I said, I'm sorry, I don't have the time, which wasn't 100% a lie, but I just wanted to be careful and be like, hey, listen, every time I ask you for this information, you're not providing it to me. And I've asked 3 times, so if you can't give me the information I need after 3 times, it is a scammer.
Yeah. These, you a lot of times you think scams are like easy to avoid. They're obvious, but I don't know. This was a good one. They said they needed art, and they even gave me feedback every day when I showed them the progress, and it was like, they had conversations with me. They were dedicated to their craft. I mean, even recently, some guy got a hold of me saying that you, Michael Gracia, although you spelled the name wrong, sent him my way for something, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, and I remember you.
Person, so why would you name drop someone I know? I'm gonna go ask him.
Yeah, I know. You mentioned somewhere my account I maybe got hacked because there was a time, someone sent me a friend request or whatever you call it on Instagram, and what happened was, I accepted it because I knew the guy and I just thought it was another account, and he already was connected to like 7 or 8 people that I knew. So I'm like, okay, he's just created another account. And then I wrote the way the guy was talking to me, it sounded fishy. So I wrote my friend on his first account. And I said, "Is this you? Like, what the heck is going on? It doesn't sound like you." And he's like, "No, that's not me." So I quickly deleted it. So maybe I got hacked a little bit.
Wow. I don't know what makes them think that artists are the target for money, because we're not. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
JD's funny.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. So well, let's see. I hope neither of us get scammed this year again. And listen, I wish you guys the best. You guys are doing such awesome work. Your ideas sound great. I'm definitely going to want you to come back when your Kickstarter is ready so we can really take a look at this and push your Kickstarter. What's he say? Hold on, sorry. I'd like to play with them and ask my enemies to
Oh my God.
yeah, there's a lot of
There's great YouTube content for that. If you want to see somebody messing with scammers, there are people that are good at hacking back.
yeah.
There are hackers that hack scammers, and it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I think we're gonna wrap up. But yeah, like I said, you guys, I want you back on. I really enjoyed chatting with you tonight. I'm thrilled Tom could be part of this.
Thanks for stopping by, Tom.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and I'm loving your stuff that I'm seeing, and I'm just looking at my other screen where your work is. But yeah, no, this is fantastic. It's great stuff. I wish you guys a great 2024 with your work, and much longer, because I see life on Saturn going far.
Yeah, definitely shout out to everybody who stopped by in the comments. Rozzy, Rich, Andrew, and Mark are straight, and possibly Noah, I think he was in here, are straight from our Star Wars draw stream.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And
First of all, Rich, Rozzy, good to see you. Good to hear from you, Rich.
and JM DeSantis, good to see him.
I don't think that was JM. He might be watching, but that wasn't. That's JD. JD Smith.
I read what I wanted to read.
Yeah,
Do I know JD Smith?
Mysterious.
I don't know. He's new to the stream, he says. So I don't if you know him. But yeah, I thank him for watching.
Kat was on here too.
Kat's Mark already.
She's from the Comics Accountability Club.
Mm-hmm.
Is Mom on here watching TV? Is she watching? Mom's watching or no?
Mom is not here. She'll watch the Fugitive Poem stream, but
her mom wants to hang out with the Fugitive Poem guys.
Well, they
blast. Like
they are fun.
Her comics,
yes,
and
they
she's
are.
just over here watching what they're up to and being blown away by the personalities.
The Fugitive Poem people. If you're still watching, Christian or James, I don't worry, I know their names, man. I spent years working with those guys. But yeah, if you're still watching, you guys, first of all, thanks for watching. But yeah, we got to get together soon. You guys can drink as much as you want. I'm gonna stick with the water though.
Mark Stokes, they wrote fake checks.
Oh, okay.
They wrote fake checks. So that was them hoping that it would take us less than 5 days to finish the work before we noticed that the checks didn't clear.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We got our money back.
We got our money back. It's fine. It was like,
that's good.
We learned something.
It was sort of a victimless crime because we got our money back, but there was a lot of pain and suffering.
Especially when you're not feeling well. I remember.
Well, we were sick, and then you just think like it was like a huge confidence boost because somebody's like willing to invest that much money in you, and then it was just a lie.
Yeah.
It was a lie.
I remember once I had a logo design gig I had to do, And I had an intern at the time, and I said, listen, I'm literally like, I couldn't lift my head off the pillow. And they sent me the work that they did. I'm like, I did the illustration of it. I'm like, I set up the everything, and I'm like, just trace it in Illustrator, use this point size, do everything, right? And I get it back, and the intern didn't last much longer with me with what I saw, and I had to do it literally with my head hitting the keyboard, because if I didn't turn in by a certain day, I was going to lose a certain amount of money on the project. So I had to do this while I could. It was just bad, but I got it done. It was. I don't recommend working sick to anybody. Yeah. So it's rough. But yeah, anyway, you guys, I'm going to drop you backstage if you don't mind hanging out. Again, thank you for coming on. Really enjoyed chatting with you guys. You guys are awesome. Your work is fantastic, and you will be back on Get in Tune in March.
In March.
All right. Yep. All right. And Tom, thank you for crashing. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Just as a reminder, Monday night, 9 p.m. my live stream. I have like I explained what I'm doing. I'll be doing backgrounds for animation next week, and hopefully throughout my spare time, I can catch up on everything that I'm a little behind on the other stuff. Excuse me. Yeah, I'll be doing that every Monday night. Next week, I'll be back with another guest. I'd like to thank again Tom for coming on, and Lyd and Dom from Life on Saturn. It was a great show. Everybody, just go follow them you can follow them on Instagram. If I just lost their page, give me a second. I'm going to put their page in the comments so you guys can go follow them and check them out. Copy that. And I will see you all next week. Everything 9 p.m. Eastern. And just remember, every Wednesday morning by 9 a.m. Eastern, The Wiz will be out on Instagram and Facebook. You can follow at The Wiz Comic. Where is it? Right there. All right, guys. I will see you all soon. Have a great rest of your night. I'll see you later.